It's great to be back. I've wanted to get back obviously earlier than now, but with the family and basing in the US, it was just easier to stay there once we travelled from Australia. So it's awesome to be back in Europe. This event has been an eye-opener. I think first of all, I think the organisation's been fantastic, second to none. And one thing I've noticed is how the town, the local businesses and the mayor have really embraced the event and got behind it. And I think you can feel the enthusiasm that the town has for the race. That really comes through, and I think the athletes appreciate that. And obviously as an athlete I see that, and I think it makes for a great event. Love to come back. Obviously now the family's getting a little older. I don't travel as much with them. It's just too hard, and obviously our eldest is at school and number 2 starts school next year, so I'll be making more and more trips on my own. So yeah, I'm in the twilight of my career, but I'd love to get over here and do some of the iconic races in Europe for sure. I raced here for 3 summers back in the late 90s and early 2000s, so I always enjoyed the races here. They were tough, hard courses and honest races, and yeah, I hope to get back. Yeah, I wouldn't say Auckland was a great race. It was okay. I jumped in at the last minute. I'd had a trip to the US actually for 2 weeks in December for one of my sponsors to actually shoot the chocolate milk commercial, and but I had a lot of residual fitness, I felt, from the end of the previous season, so I did a pretty solid 3 weeks of training, finished 7th there, got another 3 weeks in before the Aussie Long Course Champs in Geelong, and was able to win, which was I felt it was a great performance, and then decided to jump into Melbourne. So the rest of the season, the main thing for me is I've just got to get my body right. With a lot of travel, it's been hard for me to commit the time in the gym and do all the little things that I like to do, which I think has really been my calling card the last 10 years. I always prepare the right way, and in January this year, when our son didn't start school, which was the plan, obviously my mind straight away turned to maybe racing Kona, because I knew we would travel again. He's not now starting school until next January, and plans can change, and that's fine. I think the main consideration though is getting the body healthy. There's no point going to Kona unless you're 100%. You can't even be 99%, and with 12 weeks to go, I have no doubt the fitness will be there if I dedicate. And I've been training well the last month, and there's still 3 months. So as an older athlete, I need to time my run. The heart and lungs, though, are the least of my concerns. It's more the body, and in particular my back. But I'm confident, once I finish all my commitments and my travel, that when I'm in Boulder, I have a good support network that I can get healthy. And if that's the case, if by mid-September, as an athlete, you know if you're ready, and if I'm ready, I'm going to go there and race. It's 3 months away, and I think if you've done an Ironman today, you're obviously fairly fit. I think your main focus immediately needs to be recovery. You're not going to lose fitness, rest assured. I can guarantee, there's no point going to Kona with tired legs. You need fresh legs, and coming off an Ironman build-up and then a race in late July, I'd be focusing a lot on recovery, maybe a lot of swimming in the next month. That the swimming will work your heart and lungs and maintain your fitness without obviously being a non-weight bearing sport. It'll help your body recover. I'd ride a little bit too, but nothing too hard, low heart rate. And the running is the last thing that I'd bring back into the training. And really I'd focus more on speed. You've obviously got the endurance to cover the distance. And it's a race. It's not just about covering the distance, it's about how fast you cover the distance. And I think after doing a big build up to an Ironman, you obviously have the endurance. Now that, for me, I would suggest the focus is on recovery, and then sort of threshold and sustained threshold work leading into Kona, and then a good taper. Well, what price the Brownlees won to, I think they're phenomenal athletes. Olympic, obviously Alistair's Olympic gold medalist and Jonathan's the bronze medalist, and by all reports they've been focusing, I know probably as much as everybody else what you read, and what I've read is that they're focusing a lot on the Commonwealth Games, and if that's the case, then I can't see anyone toppling them from first and second position. I just think they're that good, and they're that consistent, and they're the best swimmers in the field, some of the best bike riders and the best runners, so I just can't see how they can be beaten. Obviously, being a proud Aussie, I'm pulling for the Aussie boys. I think we've got a good team. It's a young team, but if I was a betting man, you'd be betting on Alistair and Jonathan. As for the ladies, I'm not even sure. I read that Helen Jenkins is out, and then I read that Non Stamped's not even racing. So it's probably more open. Maybe maybe as once again as a patriotic Aussie, we might have a shot. Emma Jackson's coming into a little bit of form, and I'd never write off Emma Moffat either. So, but they're always fun to watch. Those major championship races are always great races. So I'll be watching.